How was everyone Thanksgiving? How was everyone's Thanksgiving? Was it good? Raise your hand if you had turkey. Raise your hand if you had ham. Raise your hand if you had something else other than that. What'd you have?
I had mac and cheese.
Well, like as a main course. Chicken? I think turkey's not even that good. That's not a main course. All right, you guys are done. You're done. All right. Shh. Does someone want to open us up in a time of prayer before we get started? Anyone? Anyone? I'll pray. I'll pray if no one else wants to. All right, let's bow our heads. Dear Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you that we're able to open up your word and talk about you. I pray that you would bless our time together, and in your name, amen. All right, so I believe I'm starting this series on how to survive middle school, right? So I was in middle school about 5 years ago, so not that long ago, so it's still pretty fresh in my mind. Some of you guys are going into high school next year, so a lot of what you learn in this series will also be applicable to high school, but we're gonna aim it in on middle school. So middle school is a very formative time in your development, right? You noticeably change in your character, and a lot of that has to do with your time in middle school, who you surround yourself with, everything like that. So before I disclose the topic today, I need someone to raise their hand and tell me what these characters all have in common. They are all fiction. They are all best friends, right? We got Buzz and Woody, SpongeBob and Patrick. Anyone know what that one is over there? That's not the Tin Man. The Iron Giant. Yep. You guys don't know the name of his buddy? It's Hogarth. You guys don't know Hogarth? I guess we're getting a little old. That wasn't me. Uh-oh. I barely bumped it. I don't think it got unplugged back here. Yo, let's go. All right. I'm not going to even touch it. I'm not going to even bump it. All right. So, when I was putting together this lesson on friendship, I was trying to think of a Bible verse that perfectly captured the image of a good friendship. And what immediately came to mind was David and Jonathan. And if you've been following our series at the 11:30 service or the 9 service, whichever service you go to, we're talking about the life of David, right? And a little background on this text, right? David is going to be the king, but Saul doesn't like that at all. So Saul, throughout David's life, keeps trying to kill David so he doesn't become king. But Saul's son, Jonathan, is David's best friend and protects David and helps keep him alive. So yeah, let's read this. So this is in 1 Samuel 18, 1 through 4. As soon as he had finished speaking to Saul, the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And Saul took him that day and would not let him return to his father's house. Then Jonathan made a covenant with David, because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of his robe that was on him and gave it to David, and his armor, and even his sword and his bow and his belt. All right, so I took 3 things away from this verse that we can all apply to our friends in our lives. So the first one, friends care deeply for one another, right? someone who's your friend. And when I say friend, I'm not really talking about just like all your classmates, right? Who you like generally throw, oh yeah, they're my friend. No, when we're talking about friends, we're talking about like a really close friend, like a deep friend, maybe even like you'd say your best friend. That's the kind of friends that we're talking about today. We obviously should try to be friends with a lot of people, but you can't have that close personal relationship with every single person in your life, right? There's not enough hours in the day to do all that. And you're only going to have a certain amount of people that you can be really close with and have that one-on-one time with. So in our part of our text, it says, the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. Now I think this is a really beautiful way of saying that they were that close to each other. It's saying his soul was knit to that of David's. So Jonathan and David were this close. And the language and the imagery here just perfectly paints that picture of how close and how deeply we're supposed to care for one another. So in this Proverbs 17, it says, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. So a friend loves at all times. So say your friend does something behind your back, right, that you don't appreciate, or they say something either to you or not in front of you, but it gets to you, right? That you feel a certain kind of way because they are your friend, right? And you expect something different from them. So when they say that, that really hurts you. That's when you say that, or when you hear that, what's your immediate reaction, right? You're like, why would they say that about me? I thought we were friends. And a lot of the time, that's how friendships could end. But if we throw away that friendship just like that, I really think that doesn't make anything better, right? We need to try to bridge that gap between the two. But a real friend, I think, wouldn't do that to you. Because it says a friend is born for adversity. What does adversity mean? Anyone know what adversity means? Yeah, right there. Yeah, yep, that is what adversity means. Anyone else have like a good definition for adversity? Because that's kind of a big word. No, that was good though. So adversity in your own life can be any kind of trial or anything you're going through, right? You're facing adversity, you're facing hard times, trials. A friend is someone who will be with you on your adventure and help you with those hard times and help you in adversity, right? A lot of us have gone through stuff or will go through stuff, and that one friend or maybe that group of friends is really going to help you in that time in your life. Maybe that's happened, maybe that hasn't happened yet. But going in alone is really never going to help you out in situations of hardship. And a brother or a friend is really gonna help you out with that. So the second point that we pull away from this is friends put each other first, right? And we see this because it says he loved him as his own soul, and later it says he gave him the shirt off his back, he gave him his armor, sword, bow, and belt. He gave him all of this stuff, putting himself first. And this encapsulates like the golden rule that we're all taught, whether in church or school, right? Put others first. Do unto others as you want to be done to yourself. I think this is a really great thing to do because as humans, we're all like inherently selfish, right? We all look out for our own interests, right? It's only natural because, we see everything from our perspective. But a real friend, he'll sacrifice time. He'll show up to that thing, or they'll show up to that thing. She'll show up to that thing. She'll sacrifice. He or she will sacrifice that time, that effort, that energy to be with you, to put you first, to hear out your thoughts, hear what you want to do, hear what you're thinking, and yeah. So Philippians 2:3-4 says, "Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourself. Let each of you look not to his own interests, but also to the interests of others." Now this is a super famous verse from Philippians, and for good reason, because it starts with saying, do nothing out of selfish ambition or conceit, right? count others more humble. In humility, count others more significant than yourself, right? You want to be humble, right? You want to look at your friends, and you want to value them, like you would value yourself, if not over yourself. Yeah. So the third one, friends push you towards Christ, right? Now this is the most important part of a valued friendship, because at pretty much all points of your life, you're either moving farther or closer to Christ, right? And a good friend is going to, on our journey, is going to help push us towards Christ. And whether you go to a Christian or private school, I'll talk more about Christian school specifically, because I went to Christian school. But Christian school or private school, you're going to have friendships, and you're going to have friends who are Christians and who are not Christians, who are followers of Christ, who are not followers of Christ, right? I don't believe that we isolate ourselves away from non-Christians, right? That's not what Jesus did, right? Jesus didn't come down to earth and only associate himself with believers, right? Or people who followed the law at that time. But that being said, we need to be careful who we surround ourselves with, because you might think, I don't give into that, or I'm not going to be peer pressure into that. You might have strong willpower, but your willpower is only so strong. So make sure you surround your close friends, people who are going to be beneficial for you, and people who aren't going to put you in a situation where you're tempted to do something that you shouldn't be doing. So those good friends are going to be people who push you towards Christ. And the conversations that you guys have, they're on a deeper level, right? They're not just surface level conversations. Those are fine, but you need to have those conversations with those friends that push you deeper in your understanding of Christ. So I'm going to leave you off with this point, and I'll talk about it for a little while. Who you befriend is who you become, right? We hear this a lot. And if you haven't heard this, it basically says who you surround yourself, who your friends are, is who you will be, right? The people you spend the most time with is the people that you'll be the most like. It only makes sense. You spend so many hours a day with these people for years of your life, right? The friends I hang out with now, I've been with since third grade for the ones I've been with at church, and then in school I've been with since sixth grade, so almost 10 years for third grade. So I've been with them for a very long time, and their influence and the things I've learned with them definitely show up in my life. So if we surround ourselves with godly people, then we ourselves will become more godly. And I think it's also up to us to be that light in our friends' world, right? We need to be the person pushing others towards Christ, leading the conversation that way. Invite people to youth group, right? Invite people to church. I always think it's great when I see you guys invite your friends from school over here to hear a lesson or to go to youth group. I think that's a great thing to do, because everyone needs to hear that word, right? And it's definitely not going to click just like that. It's going to take you asking them over and over again to show. If you show that you're dedicated to them, that will be that'll mean a lot to them, because it shows that they're seen, right? You know that they're there, and it really makes them feel like, oh, this person really cares for me. He wants this for me. She wants this for me. I'm gonna hear them out and hear what they have to say. Be careful who your friends are, and more importantly, be the light in someone else's life. Let's see. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people make bad and rash decisions based off the people that they hang out with, right? And I'll talk about Christian school for a minute, like I said I would. Christian school, a lot of time we can think, everyone's a Christian, right? But I haven't seen that to be true in my life. And a lot of the friends that I hang out with from high school or middle school, I really don't see that to be true. I really don't think that's where the conversations, I don't think that's where the conversation centered around faith and Christ and all that stuff. Um, and I think specifically a Christian school or at any school, you don't really want to feel like, oh, I'm like pushing this whole God thing, this whole like be better thing. You really don't want to feel like that. But I think that we're all in the wrong headspace when we think about that. If you know someone's not a believer, right? It's like you want to save their life, right? You want to help save their soul. You want them to open up to God. I think that should overrule our fear of being awkward or our fear of being like, why are you talking about this? Come on, man, we're at lunch. So yeah, I think that should really push past that, because you want to see better for your friend. If they're like your real friend, you want to see them do better, be better. And yeah, so I think that's all I have for today. I do have some discussion questions because we got some extra time. Yeah, I think I have them here. Yeah. So if you guys want to break up into some groups, you guys can talk about these questions. Let's see. How many? Yeah, I mean these ones are like the main ones. These are like kind of fun ones, I guess. You guys can break up into groups, talk about these ones right here, and then in like a little less than 10 minutes, I'll pray us out, and then you guys can be dismissed. extra time.
Yeah, you did have a lot of time.
That's why they gave me these.
Oh, I don't. This is no. So actually, no. Because the reason I only gave you is because I know.
What?
Because I was so horrified to come at you guys.
But now you gotta say Nate got it to work. All right, if you guys are ready, I'll pray us out, and then you guys can stay up here and. Well, just give him a second. I'm just waiting. They're kind of still doing a little something. All right, you guys ready? Let's bow our heads, close our time out. All right. Dear Jesus, we thank you for the time that we were given today to talk about you. I pray that everyone have safety on their way home. I pray that we would all have a fun time during the holidays, and as we go into this time of Advent, that we would remember why we're doing it and we remember you. And in your name, amen.